Shalom. Want to give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Shema Shai, Shem and Dash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, they told me the truth, and peace, blessings, and salutations to the hopeful elect. And like it says, Stephen Miller tells law enforcement they are unleashed in Memphis. And again in Memphis, there's a whole load of Israelites there. And don't be surprised if there's a T5 Jakes, man. But yeah, let's play it.
I see the guns and badges in this room. You are unleashed. The handcuffs that you're carrying, they're not on you anymore. They're on the criminals. And whatever you need to get it done, we're going to get it done. We are about to provide you with a level of support you cannot even imagine. This isn't just a task force. This is a all-of-government unlimited support operation. ATF, DEA, FBI, ICE, Department of War, every resource we have. And they're not going to be sitting behind a desk at a keyboard. We are sending in real cops with guns and badges to go out with you on the street every single night making arrests.
That was White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller speaking to law enforcement in Memphis, Tennessee yesterday, telling them they can do whatever they need to do to fight crime there. Attorney General Pam Bondi and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth were also there just days after a task force ordered by President Trump started operating in the city. The Memphis police chief said on Tuesday that National Guard troops are expected to arrive in the city within the next 2 weeks. I want to bring in now Democratic Congressman Jake Auchincloss of Massachusetts. Congressman, I want to start with just getting your reaction to what you...
It's as simple as this, man. It's as simple as this, my mistake, I'm typing Jacob Cho. It says, alas, for that day is great, for that none is like it. And you know what? So at the end of the day, it says big, tall, thick, stout, massive, coarse. And then again, going into the word big, as it says, alas for that day is great. Meaning, the other things that have happened in this world, it's not going to be like Jacob Cho. It's going to be bigger than those things that have already happened. Like I said, it's going to be worse than the transatlantic slave trade. And like I said, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. And I'm going into the elect, the ones the Lord has chosen, them. They're going to be protected in that day. And even through famine, they're going to be protected. Like it goes into verse 26, 2 Corinthians 2 and 26, it says, as for the servants whom I have given thee, there shall not one of them perish, for I will acquire them from among thy number. So yeah, the servants of the Lord are going to be good. Oh, that's funny, bro. It says, be not weary, for when the day of trouble and heaviness cometh, others shall weep and be sorrowful, but thou shalt be merry and have abundance. And literally, going into that word merry means to be happy, man. And again, that's why people say Merry Xmas. But even then, the Xmas part is crossing out the Lord, but the merry being like a good time. Like it says, pleasing, agreeable, pleasant, sweet, exciting, feelings of enjoyment and gladness. Yeah, so that's how those elected ones are feeling that day, man. They're gonna be good in that day. Again, going to abundance. This is a copious quantity or supply. This is abundance, and directly from the Latin abundantia, fullness, plenty. So yeah, you're gonna have to overflow, meaning to have a whole load, man. A whole load of food, a whole load of water. You're going to be taken care of. Well, that being the letter, man. Whoever they are. And then it says, the heathen shall envy thee. Yes. The other nations shall envy thee. Why? Because obviously, like it says, the sons of the Lord are going to be happy and have an overflow of food and water. But yeah, like I said, the heathen shall envy thee, but they shall be able to do nothing against thee, saith the Lord. So yeah, these times are coming, man. But it looks like it's already here. It's already here, man.
What you just heard there, and the way that the Trump administration is fighting crime in American cities by sending in National Guard troops.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on, Ali. It's unacceptable. Law and order is vital, and mayors, governors should do their utmost to defend against not just violent crime, but also quality of life violations like shoplifting or open air drug use. I'm not contesting that. What I am contesting is the use of the United States military for domestic law enforcement, which cuts against a 500-year tradition that actually predates the United States.
Yeah, the plan on bringing the United States military. Sounds like martial law to me. That's exactly what it sounds like. And even then, your people have been warned, man. You've been warned by the prophets that these things are coming. But obviously, people don't want to believe. Oh, well, now you got to deal with it by yourself. And there's no point trying to call upon the Lord. It's too late now. It's honestly too late. Laugh at your calamity. Yeah, Proverbs 1 and 21, it says, she crieth in the chief place of concourse, in the openings of the gates. In the city she uttereth her word, saying, how long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. Essentially going to the Holy Spirit and that wisdom that comes out of the mouth of the servants of prophets. It says, turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you, which the Lord has done by way of the prophets. He said, because I have called and you refused, I stretched out my hand and no man regarded. So yeah, the very things that the prophets were saying, they didn't want to hear it. Instead, they wanted to do their own thing. As it makes mention in Amos 9 and 10, it says, all the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say, the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us. So this is what the Lord's got for you, man. He's bringing in the US military, and you will be touched. And I want to say you will get touched. I mean, all I can say is bad things are going to happen. Actually, I forgot. Let me continue. It says, turn you at my reproof. Behold, I'll pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you. Because I've called and you refused, I stretch out my hand. Again, going to the sons of the prophets. And no man regarded, but ye have set at naught all my counsel, and with none of my reproof. I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. So even then, but I'm sick of tired of hearing about the Khazars, bro. I'm tired of the Khazars. And like I said, the Lord's gonna show you who his people are. He's gonna show you, man. Oh boy, yeah, where was I? Yeah, I'll also laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. When your fear cometh as desolation. Desolation. Yeah, the video. I have to go outside because I know my brother has control over this phone. And so the videos are ending. Man. So it says desolation. It says sorrow, grief, personal affliction. Personal affliction. Action of laying waste, destruction, or expulsion of inhabitants. And it says hopelessness. And that's what's coming, man. Because yeah, when your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, being a violent storm or a violent wind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall see me early, but they shall not find me, for that they hated knowledge, and did not choose the fear of Yahweh Shem Moshe. They were not in my counsel, they despised all my reproof. Therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way, and be filled with their own devices. So yeah, the very things that they love doing, that wickedness that they love doing, they can go ahead and deal with that, or rely on that, instead of relying on Yahweh Shem Moshe.
United States. I represent Greater Boston. We're coming up on our 250th anniversary of the American Revolution. I know that Americans did not want to quarter the King's troops, and they are not going to want to quarter the President's troops.
I know the last time that you were on, we were talking about what was happening at that point in Los Angeles. You were pushing for reforms to Posse Comitatus, which is just basically the way that the federal government is able to send National Guard troops in if the governor or local officials are objecting. Ultimately, when you see the way that the president is not just continuing to do this, but then also saying to top military officials just the other day that American cities are a training ground for the military. You served in the Marines. I mean, what does this say about the body that you were once a part of?
United States Marines are trained that we are no better friend and no worse enemy. The challenge is the commander-in-chief thinks that Russia is the friend and Los Angeles is the enemy. All of the speeches that the Secretary of Defense wants to give, all of the chest thumping that Stephen Miller wants to do, doesn't matter if the commander-in-chief is literally rolling out a red carpet for Vladimir Putin right before the Russian autocrat turns around and invades NATO's airspace, and simultaneously deploying Marines to Los Angeles in a violation of Posse Comitatus. Until Donald Trump actually respects the law and understands law and order, none of the chest thumping matters.
So, Congressman, we've seen the action on troops. That's going to continue, but now it'll be done against the backdrop of a government shutdown. It's there that I want to switch gears and discuss a new letter that I got this morning. It's sent by the House Oversight Committee ranking member Robert Garcia. This is first here on MSNBC, and it alleges a potential violation of the Hatch Act by the federal government for its posting of political messaging on government websites, accusing Democrats of shutting down the government. This is not the typical kind of messaging that we see agencies sending, that we see agencies posting publicly. But what's your take on this attempt to try to get the administration to adhere to norms that really seem so far gone at this point?
Almost unquestionably illegal. I saw the website to which Robert Garcia is referring to, and it really is just the tip of the iceberg of a much deeper level of corruption and grift. Probably most concerning is Trump Coin, which the president and his sons have been issuing for his entire tenure in office, and which allows both corporate and foreign influences to buy the presidency for their benefit. You know, everyone was aghast at the airplane that the Qataris gave to the president. At least Americans knew who was giving the president a bribe. With the Trump Coin, you don't even know who's buying the
And that's how you know the weather's messed up, man. All these things going on, because we're now in October, and there's still bees and wasps flying around. And that's how you know this weather's messed up, man. And even then, the sun's out. But let me quickly go back, because
corruption here is endemic, it's systemic, and we need to be the party as Democrats that campaign against corruption and call it out on both sides where it does exist.
And I know that I was talking on the Hill yesterday to Democrats who had also seen these posts and seen the reporting that I and others have done on the letters and emails that are being sent through agencies blaming Democrats for the shutdown. Democrats were concerned. Republicans said, no, I think that they're just speaking fact, despite the fact that I don't see how it's anything other than a likely violation of the Hatch Act either. But when you look broadly at this landscape on the government shutdown, you happen to be in Massachusetts right now. This is like the one-day break for folks before they come back to town to continue trying to figure out the government shutdown situation. What are you hearing from your constituents? What are the dominoes that you expect to fall in your district because of the government shutdown now?
You know, the middle class pays most of the taxes that fund the government, and the middle class has had a bad year under Donald Trump. I think they want to see three things: corruption, I think public safety, and health care, particularly the cost of health care. And so before this shutdown, I put forward a series of starting points for negotiation with the Republicans. I said, release the Epstein files as a gesture of transparency as we try to grapple with the endemic corruption in this administration. Refund the COPS grants that have been cut that make it harder to hire and train local law enforcement. And then stem the worst of the Medicaid cuts that are going to increase the cost of long-term care and increase health insurance premiums for everyone, not just Medicaid beneficiaries. Those are proposals that have a supermajority of support from the middle class, from Americans. They don't actually have a very strong partisan valence. And instead of working in good faith, you've got this administration performatively and cruelly trying to just drown the federal government.
Yeah, I think bipartisanship has unfortunately become a bad word in Washington, but it's really the only way this town functions. I know that you know that. Democratic Congressman Jake Auchincloss of Massachusetts, always appreciate you coming on and giving your perspective.
So yeah, man. That's basically the end of the lesson. And you know what? I guess the wasp is gone. So yeah, simple as this. So then said they commonly devise devices against Jeremiah. So let's come up with a plan to come up against Jeremiah. The law shall not perish from the priest, no counsel from the wise, nor the word from the prophet. Come and let us smite him with the tongue. And you see that all the time, especially over there in America. Where's this wasp, man? And I can hear it. Yeah, it says, for the law shall not perish from the priest, no counsel from the wise, nor the word from the prophet. Come, let us smite him with the tongue, and let us not give heed to any of his words. Yeah, for example, the people will come up and you just try and ruin the video just by talking a whole bunch of crap. I said, give heed to me, O Yahweh, but Shem Avashai, and hearken the voice of them that contend with me. That's for those who are trying to come against him. Shall evil be recompensed for good? For they have digged a pit for my soul. Yeah, meaning they came around with their traps. They try and trap Jeremiah. It says, remember that I stood before thee to speak good for them, and to turn away thy wrath from them. So you see, the prophets are out here to, well, help the Israelites. But obviously, the 2/3 Israelites don't care. They don't care. Hence why it's got to be destroyed. It says, therefore, deliver up their children to the famine. It says, therefore deliver up their children to the famine, and pour out their blood by the force of the sword, and let their wives be bereaved of their children, and be widows. So yeah, they're going to lose their children, as it says, and let their men be put to death, and let their young men be slain by the sword in battle. And this is all the judgment, man. This is the judgment. The outcry be heard from their houses, when thou shalt bring a troop suddenly upon them. Those US Marines, man. They're literally coming to take away the peace and bring violence. It says, for they have digged a pit to take me. Again, another trap, and hid snares for my feet. Yet, Lord, thou knowest all their counsel against me, to slay me. It says he knows all, yet Lord, thou knowest all their counsel against me, to slay me. Forgive not their iniquity. Never blot out their sight, never blot out their sin from thy sight, so that grace and mercy isn't going to them. Why? Because they believe not in Yahushua. But let them be overthrown before thee. Deal thus with them in the time of thine anger. Jacob's trouble, basically. But where is this wasp, man? And there it is. But yeah, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Shem HaShai, B'Shem HaKadosh, and Shalom.